Have you ever wondered or thought about the anxiety or the feeling that goes through an athlete's head when they're waiting for that phone call to tell them if they have or haven't made a rep team? More specifically, State of Origin. If you follow rugby league, you'll probably know that they announce the teams. What they do is they call the guys that made the team on, let's say, the Sunday, and then they announce it publicly on the Monday. Meanwhile, the players are waiting for that call. And wonder, hey, what's the feeling like? Well, come for a walk with me. I might be able to shed some light or give you at least a little insight on what the feeling's like, at least from a parent's point of view. About 2 months ago, Queensland announced their under-19 emerging origin squad, an extended squad of about 30 players. And my son was fortunate to be on that list. Since that time, there's been a full competition of rep footy. So my son played for the Burleigh Bears, Mal Meninga Cup. And there's also been a reintroduced under-20s kind of NRL Queensland comp with all the Queensland NRL teams taking part in this. So through that time, a lot of players have come into form that weren't originally on the list. Other players have fallen out of form that were on that list. And so there's been a lot of speculation and a lot of anxiety, I reckon, throughout the boys that were originally on the list, whether they're still in their team or not. More recently, there's been podcasts and league pages that have been speculating on their team and what they think the team's going to be. Biggish pages, pages that a lot of people follow. And of course, a lot of these boys are looking at these lists. So there's a lot of anticipation, I suppose, a lot of anxiety going around this particular team and who's in it. Now, my boy Kalani, he's been on a few of those lists and he's been mentioned in a couple of these podcasts.
Kalani Lavender, who's an age up, but he is a weapon, was the grand final man of the match in the Mal Meninga Cup for Burleigh. Every single time I watched Burleigh this year, he was one of the best on ground.
He actually had a really good Mal Meninga season, which is what they do keep an eye on. He got the player of the grand final. So his whole tournament, his whole competition was pretty good. And then on the back, he finished the grand final and they ended up winning the grand final as well. And then he backed up and got caught up into the Dolphins under-20 squad. And he actually performed quite well in that as well. He did a pretty good job. I will quickly mention too, he's actually a year under. So it's an under-19s Queensland Origin squad that was announced earlier, and he's 18. So he's a little bit younger. So there was, for us as parents at least, we were just happy that he was even getting mentioned in the conversations. But nevertheless, the anxiety is still the same. The feeling's still the same, especially through this whole sort of selection process. And as parents, we're riding the wave with him as well. A lot of emotion goes into it. It's pretty much with the Origin squad, it's the one level under the men. It goes the men and underneath is this emerging Origin squad, so it's a pretty big deal. So the last 4 days he keeps asking me of, my opinion. What do you think, Dad? Do you think I'm in the team or have you heard anything? And I'm kind of in the league scene to a certain point. Now I've been coaching for a little while at a reasonably high level, at a rep level, and I've got to meet a lot of people along the way. But I don't know anything, so I just tell them, no, nothing. You try and reassure them. As parents, you just reassure them and tell them, the names will come out when they come out, and so don't worry about it. In the back of my mind, I'm kind of thinking about it, so I can only imagine what he's thinking about. So anyway, a couple of days ago, the weekend, I'm retraining for my trainer course because I'm back into the training. And guess who I was sitting next to? The trainer for the Queensland Under-19 Origins team. He was sitting next to me. I know him. Hey, shout out to Smallsy, if you watch the Smallsy. It's good to catch up with you. As you do, or as I do, I'm trying to get little hints on what the team might be. True professional Smallsy, he wouldn't give anything away, as they can't. A couple of things he did say were the team has been picked, and they were obviously just trying to tidy up a few loose ends on players and maybe injuries and stuff like that. And then he went on to say the calls will probably be coming out on the Sunday. So, and that's generally what happens. The phone calls come out on the Sunday and then they announce it publicly on the Monday. So Sunday comes and there's a bit of anxiety in the household, and my son's asking me, Dad, what do you think? And it was just the morning. I was like, it's just the morning, son. If they were going to call, it'll probably be more about lunchtime. Meanwhile, lunchtime ticks past. And then I start some more reassurance. Oh, they might do it sort of early afternoon, son, when everyone's kind of home and relaxed. Well, that time passes. And I'm sort of, losing a bit of faith, I guess. I've got a bit of a doubt, but I have to say, it's hard as a parent because you want to protect your kids, but how do you protect them from these circumstances when the thing is totally out of your hands? All you can kind of do is keep reassuring them, tell them that even if it doesn't happen, you've still done really well. Regardless of whatever I was saying, you could tell he was really nervous. He'd come up and down the stairs and up and down the stairs, out of character for him. He's normally just up in his room, but he'd sort of come down and he'd go up and he'd come down. Then I said, maybe they're going to wait till the footy finishes on Sunday. Sure enough, the footy finishes, it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the afternoon, or at night actually. And we were all sitting around and I go give him a bit of a hug. And so, it's good of you to even make it that far, son. The nerves are still kind of high and you're sort of holding on to a little bit of hope. But that hope sort of slips away. The whole day he's checking with his mates. He's got other mates that had also been considered. And they're on Snapchat and they're chatting to each other and they're messaging. And then he finds out none of them have heard anything as well. So there's a little glimmer of hope sort of re-emerges. None of that household have heard anything. His other mates haven't heard anything. Just to let you know, mind you, that this has been going on all day. Or actually all weekend. Actually pretty much all week. This kind of nervous anxiety has been sort of sitting in all week. He's nervously waiting for that phone call. That up until this point never came. Another thing I'll add too is in his contract, there's a $2,000 bonus if he makes the team. So me as a dad, I would like to see it because it's a good amount of money for a young kid. He couldn't care less about the money, to be totally honest. He would waive that just for the chance to represent. But, that was just another thing that was sitting in the back of my head. I was like, $2,000, that's, that could go towards whatever, that's money for you, son. So there's part of me I'm feeling a little bit disappointed for the situation. Monday comes, still nothing. So we've kind of written it off. I can sort of tell with him that there's still this kind of glimmer of hope, but I try to keep telling him, don't worry about it, son. You try to ease the fall, if you will. So I just go, don't worry about it, son. It was awesome for you to be considered. The publications have been sort of chatting about you, so you're thereabouts, my boy. He goes to school. Lunchtime comes, he gives me a text. Dad, Darius just texts me. Darius Boyd, who's his coach. And the text was, hey Kalani, give me a call when you can, no rush. And I had one of those strong arm emojis and he sent it to me. And I try to still protect them a little bit, and I kind of know what this might be. Like, you're not going to send out a strong arm emoji just to tell the kid that they didn't make it, would you? I'm not too sure. So I'm still trying to protect them, and I text them back, hey son, that sounds good, give him a call when you can. Be prepared if it's not the news you want. Nevertheless, we're proud of your efforts. Deep down in my mind, I'm like, maybe he did make this team. A couple of moments later, he texted me back, Dad, I made the team. Well, that's how I imagine, it was just the words, but that's how I imagine it would have been. He was still in class, not meant to have your phone, son, but he was still in class, so he ended up ringing me after class and telling me all about it. I could feel the excitement, almost relief, a sense of relief. Maybe the relief was for me, because it was kind of finally over. Whether he made it or not, the answer was there. We know now. But he was stoked, he was happy. So obviously happy to announce that he did make the Origin squad. He does get his bonus, and he will be taking on New South Wales up in Sunshine Coast next Thursday. So we're over the moon, man. But maybe that's just a little insight into what it's like, at least from a parent's point of view, having to watch your boy go through those emotions. He's a reasonably conserved young man. He hasn't got big emotion, but I could see it, I could feel it, I could sense it throughout the whole weekend, and especially that Sunday. So that's kind of what it's like for them. They ride it, and us parents, we ride it with them. It feels kind of cruel, but I think it's a good thing how they do that Queensland or selection process, because I suppose once they do make it, they have this feeling of I don't want to let this go. So you could feel maybe they'll go extra hard out on the field when it's time to do it. Well, that's my theory anyway. Yeah, that's just not my typical sort of vlog, but I thought that it was just a good opportunity to maybe just shed a bit of light and onto those situations. Maybe not a lot of people have had an opportunity to sort of know what it's like, because you see it on TV all the time. The players are waiting for that call, but you never know what is it like being inside the household when we're waiting for these calls. So that's my point of view from a parent and a first-hand experience of what the athlete goes through. Obviously, it's only under 19's origin, and there's a men's origin, but I could probably tell you the feeling will be exactly the same. The success and the loss is exactly the same, I reckon. The feeling of it, it's just the circumstances a bit bigger with the origin compared to the 19s, but yeah, so Foxtel and Channel 9, if you're a rugby league fan, or you're just interested to see how they go, tune in next Thursday, 7:45. Queensland takes on New South Wales, origin under 19s. Let's go, Queensland up.